Hello, class. How are you? I wanted to say thank you. I really enjoyed those mock interviews. I know it's absolutely awkward to talk in front of the camera. I do it here and it's still awkward. It never gets easy, but you guys did great. I love the creativity. Um, also, I hope that you are enjoying the financial plans. We are in step 6. So I did see that you guys did everyone did the Lincoln Learning, the financial tips for those. Aren't they great? I really think that it's important to have conversations about money. I think that the number one reason for divorce still is finances. People just don't talk about finances. They just kind of hide it underneath the rug and expect it to just go away, but it doesn't. So it's really important, especially if you are young, to start talking about money, start creating healthy financial habits. And that's what we're going to dive into this week. I'm going to go over a PowerPoint presentation and we're going to do the financial plans and talk about things that I learned now and while I was in college that I wish I would have known before. So I'm going to save you some agony and help you and give you some tips. Hopefully that they'll help you understand that having a budget is really important. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start this PowerPoint. So the objectives this week, we're going to go over budgeting basics. You're going to understand needs versus wants, how to avoid emotional spending, setting goals for spending, for saving and spending, and managing your money with the budget. So how much do you know about budgeting? Enough? Very little? Or nothing at all? So like I mentioned earlier, if I could go back in time, these are the 5 money lessons that I'm going to give you for college students that I wish I had a solid foundation on when I was going to college. Number 1, know your expenses. When you know what you're spending your money on, you can determine if you spend your money wisely. This will also help you come up with a strategy to save money or get out of debt. Number 2, it's important to know the difference between needs versus wants, like drinking water, food, clothes to keep you warm. Those are all needs. Wants are things you would like to have just to make life a little more enjoyable. Things like video games, getting ice cream after a meal. Knowing the difference between needs versus wants will help you spend less and save more. Control emotional spending. When you buy something that you don't need just because you're feeling stressed out or underappreciated. So just because you're unhappy, that's emotional spending. If you're able to understand that, you're in control of your emotions and you're able to make better financial decisions. Number 4, set financial goals. Make plans for your money. You're either going to figure out a short-term or long-term goal, but take money to buy a computer in the next month or 2, that's a short-term goal, or buy a car in the next year. Setting goals will help you accomplish that. Number 5, create a budget. It's important to create a budget to know what money is coming in and what money is going out. By creating a spending plan to ensure you always have enough money for the things that are important to cover those unexpected expenses, and you will have many of those in life. First thing I wish I would have known is my true expenses in college. So do you know the cost of college? Do you know where your money is going? A good way to budget your money is to prioritize what is important to you so you know what is left afterward. Not counting tuition. Did you know that in 2020, college students spent an average of $16,500 in rent and room and board, $5,000 eating out, and $9,000 in groceries. Their transportation was an average of $2,800. It's quite a lot of money. Here's another interesting fact. Did you know that college students altogether have spent $5.5 billion on alcohol? Yeah, that's a lot. Now, I'm not saying you can't have fun and go buy alcohol. I'm just saying it's important to know how much you're spending and where you're spending your money. So the three types of expenses in everyone's budgets. We have housing. Now, housing, do you want to live in an apartment? Or do you want to stay at home for a little while and save money? Now, those are important choices that you're going to be making. Debt obligation. I always encourage students not to go into credit card debt. Try to save and use your money, because when you use credit cards, you're also paying interest, and that adds up. That's how the credit cards make money. Discretionary money. So this is money that you should plan for too. Set aside some discretionary money. So just these are ways that you could better manage your money. Think about how you're spending your money. Needs versus wants. What are some needs in this picture? Is In-N-Out a need? How about that Starbucks Frappuccino? Games, toiletries, school supplies. Now you have to decide for yourself, what are your needs and what are your wants? I can tell you what my needs and wants are here, but it's going to be up to you to decide what your needs versus wants are. Okay, so now we're going to dive into emotional spending. Emotional spending is when someone goes out on a shopping spree during a period of heightened negative emotions, whether it's caused by sadness, anger, or stress. Emotional spending can often cause people to buy items that they really don't even want. So emotional spending is not impulse spending. It's just you're going through an emotional low, so you go out and you spend money. Okay, so let's talk about coffee. How much money do you spend on coffee a week? Do you make your own or do you go buy it? These are easy ways to cut cost. Make your own coffee and stick to like a budget. Only spend $20 a week on it. So a lot of people, a poll went out and a lot of people go coffee shopping when they're on emotional spending sprees. Another one, let's say you land a new job and you want to go get a new wardrobe. Try to buy a few staple items, pieces that you can mix and match. Wait for your next paycheck to add to your wardrobe. Don't feel pressured to go buy a whole new wardrobe at once. The goal here is to stay in your budget and stay motivated. Let's say you're stressed out and want to take yoga. Try to find free resources first before paying for it. Do your research. Look for discounts and free options so you can save money. So let's talk about emotional spending. It does happen to everyone. And I'm here to inform you that Norco College has many resources for you. Emotional spending happens, it happens to all of us. The important thing is to identify it and know how to manage it so it doesn't go out of control. And you're not alone if you're experiencing emotional or mental health issues. Remember to reach out for help. Norco College has many resources available, but you have to reach out. Other things that I could give you support on is find a free activity or hobby to channel your energy when you are tempted to shop emotionally. These things can impact so many areas of your life, not just today, but in the future. So it's important to get help if you think you might need help if you're overspending emotionally. So here are some tips to overcome emotional spending. And this is the third thing I wish I knew. Now, when it comes to your budgeting, there's a few tips that can really help you through these emotional spending moments. One is to get a hobby. Shopping is not a sport. Find something that piques your interest, like hiking, journaling, skateboarding, or even picking up a couple of books and start reading. Another helpful practice is the 10-second rule. Really think about it before you buy or purchase something. Practice holding something for 10 seconds, and that's the rule. Simply hold the item in your hand for 10 seconds and ask yourself if you honestly need it or not. And lastly, stay focused on your future. What is your end goal? Having a goal, no matter how big or small, can really help you stay focused and stop you from getting distracted with impulse purchasing or emotional purchasing. You got this. So the fourth thing I wish I would have known, setting goals. Setting goals gives you that long-term vision and short-term motivation. It also helps you become accountable for every action you take. Short-term goals should be something you can accomplish within the next 2 years. Things like paying off your credit card, building a savings account of $1,000, purchasing a new laptop, saving for spring break, or even taking that amazing graduation trip that you've been planning. Long-term goals are typically something that you will accomplish more than in 2 years, like paying off your car, saving for a down payment on your home, or paying off student loans. Give yourself a goal and a timeline that's going to help you gain perspective, and don't get discouraged about something like paying off your school loan, your student loan. It may take a while, but as long as you're making progress towards your goal, you're on the right path. And the more committed you are, you'll be surprised at how quickly you can accomplish those financial goals. 3 things to stay focused on your goal. Write down your goals. Put in some way put it somewhere that you will see often, like your visor, your refrigerator, a vision board, or a cell phone as a reminder. But write down those goals and make sure that you're reading them. Number 2, set reminders. Check in on your goals, set a date to review your progress, and celebrate small wins as you work towards your goal. Use your phone to make sure that you're setting these goals. If needed, schedule it and make sure to attend to these reminders. Number 3, use social media for inspiration. Follow accounts or influencers that motivate you and keep you focused on your goal. And do not use or follow social media influences that are going to impact you negatively. It's really important to do a social media cleanse twice a year and unfollow those accounts that are tempting you to spend money or that really wants to keep you keeping up with the Jones, and that's going to cost you money. So cleanse. So this brings us to number 5, and probably the most impactful thing I wish I would have known when it comes to money, and that's a budget. Having a budget, writing it down and following it is something I wish I would have started a long time ago. I've seen it make differences in my life and other people's life, and so I'm passing that information to you. Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? It's a really simple way to think about how to budget. 80% of your after-tax money should go to your scratch that. I had a little tongue twister there, but a simple way to describe the 50-30-20 rule about how to budget is that 50% of your money should go for your needs, 30% should go towards your wants, and 20% for savings and to pay off debt. So here's a little quick video that's gonna break it down a little bit better than I did.
Managing your money using the 50-30-20 rule. Are you ready to watch your money grow this year? What if I told you there's a way you can exponentially grow your money this year? Would you be interested? Well, if you are, make sure you watch this entire video because we will be talking about an amazing rule that will help you achieve your financial goals this year. Today, we're talking about the 50-30-20 budget rule. I know you've probably heard or maybe come across this rule before, and you might even know a thing or two about this rule. But in today's video, we will explain exactly what this budget rule means, how to use the rule, and what not to do so that you can meet your financial goals. The 50-30-20 rule happens to be one of the best and most popular tools for people who don't have time to track all their spending. But what an easy way to manage their expenditure, save money, and control their money. The rule works like this. It requires you to divide your expenditures into 3 categories: your needs, your wants, and savings or debt. But before we continue with the video, are you a subscriber? If not, please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified whenever we post. Now let's dive into the video. To help us illustrate this rule, I'd like you to say hello to John. John's an average guy who makes $4,500 a month after tax. Using the 50-30-20 rule, John will need to divide his money like this. 50% of his money, which is $2,250, will go into his needs. 30%, which is $1,350, will go into his wants. And 20%, which is $900, will go into his savings or paying off debt. Just like John, you too will need to divide your income into those categories. Simple, right? But let's look at it a little closer. Step 1, limit your needs. Needs are things you can't live without. These include things such as housing, health, transportation, utilities, food, paying off debt, and the bare minimum for clothing, shoes, and other living supplies. Only include items you can't survive without in this category. If you don't have a budget, this would be the ideal time to create one. Carefully analyze what you spend your salary on each month within this category. Warren and Tiagi, who are financial experts, say this category should not exceed 50% of your monthly income. If it does, then something is wrong. If you do, however, spend more than 50% of your paycheck on your needs, don't panic. All you need to do is carefully evaluate what you spend your money on each month. A good rule of thumb is to track your expenditure so you can have a good picture of where your money goes. Once you know where your money is going, adjust your needs by reducing unnecessary expenditures or find cheaper alternatives. Once your budget matches the 50% limit, you can now proceed to the next step. Step 2, define wants. Now a whole 30% of your paycheck going towards your wants may sound like a whole lot of money, right? You may be picturing a nice pair of shoes or that new iPhone that got released the other day. As nice as all those things are, we're not talking about buying your deepest desires. By wants, we mean expenses you can opt out of spending on, but your life would be harder without them. I'm not sure your life will be any harder without that new phone, but you might find it hard to communicate without a mobile data plan. This category should include things like your internet plan, data plans, home cable bills, mechanical, not cosmetic repairs to your car, and so on. I bet you now get it. Sometimes it may be hard to distinguish between needs and wants, but the rule of thumb when it comes to defining a want is by asking yourself if you can live without it. And if you can, then it's most likely a want. Now the final step. Step 3, save up. The final 20% of your paycheck should go towards your savings and paying off debt if you have any. This money can be used as an emergency fund, a deposit for a home, for investing, or savings for retirement. If you feel as though that 20% isn't enough, you can transfer more money from your wants list into this account. Now let's talk about the types of debt that should be included in the 20% category. The only debt that should go into this category is that which is above the minimum required payment. For example, additional credit card payments or extra payments on mortgage to clear your debts faster should go into this category. The minimum payments on debt should definitely go towards the needs category. The reasoning behind this is that the minimum required payments are compulsory, and failure to pay them would cause adverse effects on your credit status, something you just can't live with. The 50-30-20 rule is great because it helps you track your expenditure easily. Having just 3 categories creates a structure that is easy to follow and helps one to focus and manage money better. It's less detailed, making it ideal for individuals who have busy lifestyles and minimal time available in a day. The rule works really well for people within the lower income brackets, between $100,000 and $6,000. It's, however, not ideal for high-income earners because they would be forced to spend unnecessary money on needs. The 50-30-20 rule has helped many people get their finances on track. So many financial experts swear by this rule. Many people who have been in horrible financial ruts have made it through by following this guide accordingly. You can be one of them if you apply it today. Well, that's it for today, folks. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you're still here, then I bet you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to add it to your saved playlists so you can always review it when you need to. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.
So the best thing you can do, and you need to, is gain and maintain control of your financial wellness. You do this by creating your own work budget. You need to know the money that's coming in and the money that's going out. This is your financial game plan. And in order to accomplish any goal, you need to have some plan, right? Just like sports, there's always a game plan to achieve the next move. Writing dollars. Okay, so writing out a budget is so important. It helps you see where every dollar is going. It's also good to check in on it every few months or anything you have that may change the money in your housing or other obligation expenses. And so this week, I gave you a budget worksheet to work on. And let's go over it a little. So in this area, we have your monthly income, and these include all sources of financial income that's coming in. Second job, small business, anything you take home, alimony, Social Security card, that goes in this area. Housing expenses would include mortgage, rent, utilities, food and clothing in this area. I have this healthcare area, and I have it so you can just type in the information. And then you're going to get your total income and total expenses. And what I had you do is see if you had a surplus or if you had a deficit. And so what things can you change if you have deficits? And that's when you work on reworking the budget. Also, I want to indicate that or add that as a student, you will need to add textbooks, parking passes, and other material costs in this other area because it's not included in the worksheet I gave you, but you should also be including that. And this is how you start to create action plans for yourself. You know, rework the budget and work on ways that you can save money, where you can take some money out. Are you spending way too much on groceries? Are you spending way too much on eating out? So balance your budget. Not everyone has the same financial situation and everyone's goal is different. But being financially healthy is super important. And I really encourage you all to take an hour and make a list of your monthly college expenses. And remember to give every dollar a job, every dollar that comes in, every dollar that comes out. That way you don't have unexpected, situations of not having enough money or having a deficit. So today I talked about 5 things I wish I would have known about money when I was in college and how to plan for those monthly known expenses. But it depends on your own individual situation. I encourage you to create your own budget, hold yourself accountable, and be consistent. These tips will be a key to your success in your financial wellness. Money isn't everything, but it is important and an influential piece of life, being in control of it. Others have a plan to meet with a financial coach to help you along the way. One final piece of advice: remember to give every dollar a job and know where your money is going.